All right, welcome back to Comic-Con Fun Time. The other day I looked at the Adventure Time Comic-Con panel, and now I'm going to look at the Infinity Train one. I'm a few days late to this, but I haven't seen the new trailer or anything at all, so I'm going to get my total new experience from watching this panel. I never even looked into the production of this show that much or anything like that. Don't the DVDs have some behind the scenes stuff? I never really looked into that stuff, so I'm interested to see what kind of stuff they'll end up talking about here. So let's see what we got here. I'll just probably react to some things that they say during the panel and then talk about the trailer at the end as well.
Series creator Owen Dennis.
Hey.
How does the series creator have the worst Wi-Fi?
I remember with Alex, it was,
Oh, his camera's updated now.
Whenever we would choose, which scripts that we want who to write, where it's this person will probably add this general flavor to the script, so that person should probably be the one who handles that script, or and the same thing happens with board artists and stuff.
Yeah, so that's definitely a sort of thing that makes the show different from how Adventure Time works, because of course Adventure Time still has scripts and everything, but usually the ones who write the script and all the dialogue and everything are also the ones that do all the storyboarding, meaning that they know all the dialogue and the pacing of the action and everything, and they're the ones that come up with how it looks. Well, on Infinity Train, it seems like the writers and the people who create the visuals for the writing are totally separate. Some people specialize in coming up with the script, and then other people specialize in drawing up the script.
They were okay, well, we had 10 episodes, and we worked really hard to get it down to those, a real tight 10 episode thing. And then they're okay, you get 20 episodes. And we were sort of okay.
Yeah, so that sort of confirms what people were saying, why we're all so confused about there being a book 3 after they kept saying that they need a lot of support for there to be another book. It's because Cartoon Network had already ordered all the episodes and stuff, and based on the episodes ordered, they decided to format it in a very segmented book format, which is really cool. It's something that definitely makes this show very unique. And starting with this new book, I'm glad for it to focus on somebody that isn't Tulip. Even though in book 2, Mirror Tulip, that whole arc was very different from Tulip's and was better. I think it'd be cool to see characters that are totally unrelated to Tulip.
And with the shorts, we got to go through some car ideas that we didn't really have a place for in the regular episodes.
I never watched any of the shorts, should I?
Any car seems to work. It's really matching it up with the emotional thrust of the episode that usually gets the okay.
Yeah, hence why the climax of season 1 occurred in a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit room.
The first one she's in, Tulip full on says, "This is a puzzle car. You got to balance it." I think that set up an expectation. And I would just type in "Oh, it's a big pinball car. It's crazy pinball. Ha ha." And I put 10 seconds worth of thought into it, which resulted in so much design work of a giant pinball.
That's my favorite part about animation is I can put in 3 words and then you guys have to work on that for 3 weeks.
That's the beauty of it, though, because that's just what shows how much effort goes into making the world building and stuff. That's something I say a lot about Rick and Morty, is that almost every episode of Rick and Morty takes place in some different planet or world or something, and they need to pour hours and hours into thinking about how that's going to look and do concept designs of how it's all going to look. And that's the same stuff they do here, except on a much more faster paced way, because usually they show multiple carts in one episode and the episodes are only 11 minutes. So they need the worlds to be as developed as possible within such a short time frame.
Owen, you prepared something about multi-plane effects to let people in on some behind the scenes thing.
So is this old 30s cartoon style, always trying to have things in the foreground so that there's a lot of depth in what we're seeing? Also, cool pillow. Look at that puppy.
In the 1930s, 2 different studios were competing for the ultimate realism in their animation. One studio invented something called the stereo-optical camera, or the setback.
Are they not allowed to say what the studio's names were because those studios still exist and are their competitors?
The other studio invented something called the multiplane.
Yeah, Disney. Walt Disney. You can't say Disney, though. Also, I was right. I learned about this in film school. Ooh. Genuinely, though, I never consciously noticed that, how much depth and stuff and scale goes on in this show. It's really cool of them to show this, to make an entire separate little video about it. This is what I live for. This is what I want to see more of from all these shows. But they just, they'll upload a few pictures of concept art and stuff. And it's no, show me the actual animation process, please. It's very hard as viewers to understand how complicated it is to make all these things turn out the way they do. So I always appreciate when we're able to see or hear more about exactly what they do to make it. It is not just like it's a big magical mystery, like oh, Infinity Train got greenlit, so they're gonna make a new season, and then we just see it on TV. And there's just like a bajillion backgrounds and frames of animation every episode, but we don't have to think about that because it's just on our TV. It's like, no, somebody had to draw all that. Several people had to draw all that, not just one person. Yes, this is the best shot in the whole series.
I hope you check out our show. It's called Infinity Train. It's streaming on HBO Max, and it was produced through Cartoon Network Studios.
See, why was that like an ad for the show, but then also it like spoiled the ending of the second season?
We've gotten very mad at work by somebody writing the entire season correctly. Like some people already guessed that Grace and Simon were going to be back.
Just like how on Gravity Falls, a lot of the fan base almost entirely predicted the plot twist for that, so they had to deliberately come up with red herrings or rewrite things and put in a lot of jokes, acknowledging the fact that everybody already figured out what happened.
So we got Hazel.
We got Hazel.
I just realized Hazel's kind of wearing Hatsune Miku's outfit, right? Even just something about Tuba's character design and Hazel's character design, and even the two Apex characters that we've already met, I like their designs a lot. Like, the character designs in this show never really stood out to me too much in the way they do in other stuff, but these characters look very cool. Very post-apocalyptic and stylish and stuff. They're not just a kind of normal-looking, almost like Life is Strange looking people that we've seen before. They definitely seem to have more character to them just looking at them in a still image compared to some of the previous characters.
Just in case people haven't watched it yet or recently.
What do you mean haven't watched it yet? You've already shown the ending of season 2 during this stream. On the Adventure Time one, they were really conscious about spoiling the BMO episode, but here they're just spoiling Infinity Train. Is it because BMO was exclusive to Max and Infinity Train has been out for a little while, maybe?
Getting to dig into them as full humans in this season and understanding them and seeing who they are more deeply and where those kind of belief systems come from.
Yeah, definitely, because something that I felt about book 2 that wasn't really that good was that the Apex was just sort of there to be something to make Jesse and MT like angry at each other. Having a story focus on them separately is going to be much more interesting than just having them kind of be there as a conflict.
No, it was hard to see fan feedback who they were like upset about the train, and we were like, we know, we're with you.
Maybe it's not the right thing to kidnap people.
Or force them to kick a toad.
The world premiere trailer for Infinity Train Book 3?
World premiere.
The framing there, that was really good. Hazel's really cute. They were right. Her head is like kind of like, she looks weirdly disproportionate compared to how other characters look. They're gonna go back to that train. The cat is back, of course. They can't not include her.
We're really, really excited. We hope that all the fans are excited. We hope that we get a lot of new viewers.
I don't think they're very excited because the entire continuation of their franchise is dependent on a thing that is separate from something that people have. So again, as they reiterate in this stream several times, you should get HBO Max if you can and actually watch Infinity Train on that service so that there's proof that people like it. And it's cool of Owen to mention too that the show even got made at all because the pilot became so popular. It's incredible to know that like because it had so many views and so much love, it ended up turning into this 3-season long epic, very unique miniseries. I like that they talked about the anthology approach a lot, and I love the little animation behind the scenes bit they showed. They're a very fun crew. There's something about like, writers on anything that's sort of like mystery focused. They're going to be very, very jokey because they know that they're just sitting on all these things that people are really, really passionate about, would love to know, but they know that they have to make people wait. So they can spend all their time on Twitter and interviews and stuff just being really cheeky the whole time. They were very funny. They were very fun. And I'm glad specifically they talked a lot about behind the scenes type stuff because that's what I love hearing. And the trailer for the new season, it's significantly less than a month. That's going to be really soon. So you can catch me doing what I did with book 2 and doing episodic reviews and stuff for it. I think kind of like the Adventure Time like song from that panel, this trailer is pretty clear cut. Like I don't really see much storyline that we can interpret from here aside from like a really general plot synopsis of Simon and Grace find Hazel and then they encourage her to be part of the Apex, and then they probably slowly realize that maybe it's kind of weird that we're like living on a train and running away from our problems. Is Tuba not like just the best like character design you've ever seen in your entire life? What's their mention of Jesse? What? Their mention of Jesse here too. It's almost like they're scared to get their numbers down, or like they want to scare people into thinking that getting their numbers down is wrong. Almost specifically because what they talked about in the panel, where it's like, you know, Grace and Simon probably like they probably know that they're supposed to get their number down, but they just like they don't want to go back to whatever the problem is that they're running away from. And this is called the Cult of the Conductor, and it's going to be focused on these characters trying to teach themselves what the true purpose of the numbers are and stuff. I would assume Amelia would make an appearance again. I feel like it's very weird of her to stay out of the show. I think it made a lot of sense for her to not appear in book 2, but I think she could reappear here and it would make a lot of sense. Maybe even like, I mean, she had a huge number, so I don't know, like maybe right before she is able to get off the train, maybe. I'm excited to see more. And again, like I was saying, like Apex, the little mini arc that we got in season 2 wasn't really my favorite thing about that season, like at all. But I think if they give them their own focus here, and with this Hazel character and the cartoonish gorilla, I think this season could be a lot of fun. Can it top season 2 though? That's truly what I wonder, because I think season 2 is very, very, very tight, especially compared to season 1. So anyways, this is a 58-minute recording of me talking here. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing these. I think they should always let us watch Comic-Con panels without having to live in California. You know, usually at Comic-Con they'll show clips and stuff, but that stuff usually ends up online. But what doesn't end up online usually is just the cast hanging out, you know, the crew and cast hanging out, answering questions, revealing sort of production things. And I love hearing that kind of stuff so much, but there's just, Comic-Con's the only opportunity to hear it, or like an art book or something if we're lucky enough for that to come out. So I hope we have a bright future ahead of us for future Comic-Cons and for future Infinity Train content. Let me know what you thought about all this, and let me know if you're excited for Infinity Train Book 3 as well. Thanks for watching, and super special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to know when I post a new video. Be sure to stay tuned for more new videos and live streams. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok to get frequent updates and video clips. And consider supporting me on Patreon for just $2 a month to get some behind-the-scenes content, like scripts and review notes, and even early videos. Once we get about 20 Patreon supporters, I'll start a Discord server for us to chat.